A simple mission, a cursed goblet, and the beginning of something no one at Camp Half-Blood is ready for. Hi, and welcome to this Podfic recording of Whispers of the Wild, written and read by me, DreamerAxie. This is a Percy Jackson fanfic that follows Nico di Angelo, Will Solace, and their friends as they face a curse that changes more than just their bodies. This story includes themes of identity, loss of control, and emotional vulnerability. Please listen with care and take breaks if you need to. You're about to listen to Chapter 1. It was supposed to be easy. Let's begin. It was supposed to be an easy retrieval mission. A minor errand, Mr. D had said. Something about a ceremonial goblet he'd misplaced a few centuries ago. No monsters to fight, no real danger. Just a walk through the woods to an overgrown ruin nobody remembered and back in time for dinner. Will hadn't even packed ambrosia. Now, they were knee-deep in brambles, surrounded by trees that didn't feel quite right. Why would the god of wine lose track of something for 300 years? Will asked, pushing aside a wall of ivy with his forearm. Isn't he immortal? And annoyingly all-knowing? Nico didn't answer. His shadows were creeping along the ground without his command, slithering low, alert. That was answer enough. The clearing appeared like a bruise in the forest, sudden, dark, and wrong. At its center sat a broken stone pedestal, choked in roots and moss. Resting on top was the goblet. It gleamed dully under the filtered light, silver gone dark with tarnish. Vines crawled around its base, but the metal itself was untouched by decay. The carvings shimmered faintly. Revelers, grapes, horns. Classic Dionysian symbols. But something about the figures was off. The proportions were distorted. The faces wore too many expressions. One figure had antlers, another fangs. A beast crouched among them, twisted and forgotten. Will frowned. Looks like a party from hell. Nico stepped closer, not quite touching it. No one's disturbed this place in centuries. Will reached for it anyway. Wait! Nico said sharply, but it was too late. Will's fingers grazed the goblet. The world shifted. There was no light, no sound, just a sudden visceral pull, like something ancient had turned to look at them from beneath the dirt. Will staggered. Nico caught him before he fell. The air smelled sharp, like crushed herbs and wet stone. The shadows curled back, hissing like they'd been burned. Will blinked rapidly. I'm fine. It's fine. Just got dizzy. Nico didn't believe him, and his own hand, the one that had touched Will's shoulder, now tingled uncomfortably, like something had crawled beneath the skin and made itself home. He looked at the goblet, then at the carvings. That crouching beast wasn't a part of the original design. He was sure of it. And now, he could swear it was smiling. Nico slammed the cup on the table in front of Mr. D. The sound echoed sharply in the cluttered room, making the god glance up from his ancient scroll with mild irritation. Well, Nico's voice was low and tense. We found it. Took longer than I expected. Mr. D gave the goblet a quick once-over, his eyebrows raised. Huh. Looks like it survived a few centuries of neglect better than my patience. You're welcome. Nico bit out, folding his arms tightly. Will shifted uncomfortably, rubbing the back of his neck. The forest felt strange, like it was watching us. Mr. D snorted. The forest always watches. You just don't notice. Nico's eyes narrowed. Maybe. Will glanced at the goblet again. It's heavier than I expected. Mr. D shrugged. That's old magic for you. Clings to everything. They all fell silent. The goblet sat between them, cold and still, but somehow felt wrong. Mr. D finally said, Take care out there. Things don't always stay quiet for long. Will and Nico exchanged a look, but said nothing. The goblet had been returned. Mr. D had grumbled, grunted, and waved them off, disappearing with deeper into the big house. For a moment, things seemed normal. But that night, Nico couldn't sleep. He lay stiff on top of his covers in cabin 13. Arms crossed over his chest, eyes pinned to the ceiling, like the shadows might open up and swallow him whole. When sleep finally dragged him under, it was heavy and wrong. He stood barefoot on damp moss. Trees loomed above him, taller than they should be, too still. Moonlight filtered down, but it was pale and thin, like it had been stretched. Somewhere in the distance, something howled. Something familiar. Something waiting. His feet started moving. He didn't want them to. They just did. And then, he was no longer alone. A golden blur streaked beneath the trees. Fast and low. Nico crouched automatically, heart hammering as instincts he didn't recognize flooded his body. Then, a pause. Just beyond the clearing, it stepped into view. Not a monster, not a threat. A golden retriever, large and sturdy, with intelligent eyes that glowed softly in the dark. It cocked its head at him, tail wagging slowly, almost uncertainly. There was a gentle warmth radiating off of it, something Nico couldn't place, something familiar. And then he saw its eyes. Bright, sunlit blue. Will's eyes. Nico's breath caught. Will? He said, or tried to. The dog perked up, recognizing its name. Then, he took a hesitant step forward. Before Nico could move, a roar shook the forest behind them. The golden retriever flinched and ran, disappearing into the shadows. Nico screamed his name. Will! But nothing came out. He woke up gasping, a cold sweat clinging to his skin. Thank you for listening to Chapter 1 of Whispers of the Wild. This story is Book 1 in the Wildguard Chronicles, a long-form project from the DreamerAxie library. This project means a great deal to me, and I'm truly grateful you choose to spend your time here. If it gave you something, a breath, a spark, a sense of connection, I'm glad. This story was written with care, and maybe, just maybe, it finds you when you need it most. To those who don't comment, don't like, don't reblog, but still show up, who listen in silence, you are seen, you're welcome, you matter. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. See you in the wilds.